How to make light and fluffy mango sandwich loaf. Craving a sweet treat that's both light and bursting with flavor? Look no further. Today we are baking a fluffy light mango sandwich loaf that's guaranteed to tantalize your taste bud. Just look at that. The golden crust practically begs to be broken into. It's so light, it almost seems to float in my hands. Now let's see what magic awaits inside. This beauty deserves a gentle touch. There we go. See that? The texture is like a cloud, so soft and fluffy, it practically melts in your mouth. And there's that beautiful hint of sunshine yellow, a peek at the delicious mango woven through the bread. This is pure heaven, the perfect balance of fluffy texture, a hint of sweetness of mango, and that delightful flavor. Let's start baking. First step, let's make some Japanese Tang water rolls, 50 grams of bread flour and 75 ml water. Water rolls or Tang is a simple mixture of flour and water that is cooked to form a thick paste 1:5 ratio. This technique is commonly used in Asian baking to create bread that's incredibly soft and stays fresh longer. By cooking flour and water, the starches in the flour gelatinize, allowing the dough to hold more water. This results in a softer, fluffier texture in our final bread. Cook the mixture over medium-low heat. Continuously stir the mixture to prevent it from sticking to the pan and forming lumps. As the mixture heats up, it will start to thicken. Keep stirring until it reaches a smooth, pudding-like consistency. This usually takes a few minutes. Once your Tang is thick and smooth, remove it from the heat into a bowl and let it cool. It can be used immediately or stored in the refrigerator for up to a few days. Set it aside and let's move on to make our bread dough. In the clean stand mixer mixing bowl, mix together our 50 grams of cool Tang that we made earlier. Next star ingredient is our homemade fresh mango puree. 200 grams of fresh mango mixed together with 30 grams of milk. Next ingredient is 2 large fresh eggs. Crack these 2 large fresh eggs into the mixture. Three grams of pink Himalaya salt. In the earlier steps where you're waiting for Tang to be cooled down, in a separate bowl, you can mix together all dry ingredients such as 470 grams bread flour plus 30 grams of milk powder, 20 grams of sugar, and also 10 grams of instant dry yeast. Add these dry ingredients and mix into the wet ingredients. Mix in low speed in the stand mixer until a shaggy dough forms. While waiting for mixing the dough, why not go to hankery.com. Go to Masterclass option or click on the link in the description box below. Ready to take your homemade bread baking to the next level? If yes, why not join our sourdough masterclass and learn the secrets to create delicious and artisanal sourdough bread from scratch, which including your own sourdough starter from scratch. Go back to our bread dough. Include the 30 grams of plain Greek yogurt, approximately 2 tablespoons of yogurt. After this self-paced course, you can create and maintain a thriving sourdough starter, bake delicious sourdough bread and focaccia, and most importantly is develop confidence and joy in sourdough baking even though you are 9-to-5 professional or just a beginner with some kitchen skills. It also includes the bonus materials such as free printable weekly baking planner to track your sourdough journey and also free downloadable ebooks with simple sourdough recipes. When the dough is a bit forming, now it's time to include our 30 grams of softened butter. cut into the cubes and slowly incorporated from the side of the mixing bowl into the dough. Butter plays a very important role to tenderize the dough. Butter contains fat, which coats the gluten strains in the dough. This coating prevents the gluten from becoming too strong, resulting in a softer and more tender crumb compared to a lean dough which is without butter. Furthermore, butter adds a subtle buttery flavor to the bread that complements many other ingredients. This buttery richness is especially noticeable in breads like mango sandwich loaf. Depending on your mixer, after 20 to 25 minutes kneading the bread, there is very important tips to determine when the dough has been kneaded sufficiently and is ready for the next steps. One indicator is that the dough stops sticking to the side of the mixing bowl. When the dough is sufficiently kneaded, it should cleanly pull away from the side of the bowl as the mixer runs. This indicates that the gluten has formed and the dough has reached the right consistency. Let's do window pan test. This is a classic method to check gluten development. Take a small piece of dough and gently stretch it between your fingers. If you can stretch it thin enough to see light through it, creating a window pan without it tearing immediately, the gluten is well developed. The dough should appear smooth and feel elastic to the touch. This means it has developed gluten adequately. Cover the dough with cling film and let it rest on a room temperature for 1 to 2 hours until double in size. It prevents the dough from drying out and creates a warm, humid environment around the dough, which aids in the proving process. After the dough doubled in size, it should look fluffy and somewhat airy. I love to use my fist poke test. Gently poke the dough with your finger or your hand. When the indentation slowly springs back halfway, this indicates that the dough is properly proved and ready for shaping. Prepare the clean workspace to start shaping our dough. Remove all the dough from the mixing bowl. If appearing a little bit sticky, you can use some flour to start to scratch out all the bread dough. Punch down the dough and release any air bubbles. Cut the portion into two. Take half of the dough aside. Using a rolling pin, roll the dough into a large rectangle. This will help create a uniform shape for our loaf. Roll it out to a log shape. Roll the seams to thinner and pinch the seams to seal the edges at the end. Place the shaped dough seam side down into a greased loaf pan. This will help it retain its shape during baking. Repeat this same process for another loaf into the same bread loaf tin. Using the lightly flour rolling pin, roll the dough into a large rectangle. This will help you create a uniform shape for our loaf, which is sometimes uneven at this stage. Roll the dough into the log shape. Pinch the seams to seal the edges. Place the shaped dough seam side down into our greased loaf pan at the other side. This will help it retain its shape during baking. Cover the loaf pan with plastic wrap and let it rise again for 30 to 45 minutes or until double in size. Preheat oven to 180 degrees Celsius to ensure it's nice and hot for baking. Spread some oil over the loaf tin cover and cover the loaf completely with the loaf tin cover. This will help create a steamy environment for a great cast, and the most importantly is I would love the very rectangular squarish loaf tin. If the dough is bulging out a little bit, try to gently press it down to fit into the loaf tin itself. Carefully place the covered loaf pan into the preheated oven. Bake cover for 20 to 25 minutes in fan force oven at 180 Celsius degree or until the loaf is golden brown and sounds hollow when tapped. If you want crispy crust, what you can do is remove the cover and continue baking at the last 5 to 10 minutes in the oven. This will allow the top and sides to brown and develop a crispy crust. Let the loaf cool slightly in the pan before transferring it out to cool completely. And there you have it, freshly baked homemade mango sandwich loaf, ready to be enjoyed even though you are just a beginner. When tearing into mango bread, you will notice a soft and tender crumb that delicately moist. The bread is light and fluffy with a fine, even texture that holds together well without being overly dense. It tears easily, revealing its airy structure and inviting you to savor each bite. The flavor of mango bread is a delightful balance of sweetness and tanginess. With every bite, you will taste the tropical essence of ripe mangoes, imparting a natural fruity sweetness that's complemented by hints of tartness. As you chew, the bread releases a burst of mango flavor that is refreshing and reminiscent of biting into a fresh mango. So don't use the artificial mango puree. Use a fresh mango and make your own fresh mango puree with the milk. The sweetness is gentle, akin to a ripe mango with a pleasant acidity that enhances the overall taste experience. For the full recipe, you can go to hankery.com for print-out recipe or check out the description box below for the next upcoming video. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more tasty recipes like this, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Click the subscribe button and hit the notification bell icon to get notified whenever we post new recipes and cooking tips.